thoughts on 100% capacity this weekend and just how excited you and the guys are to see the atmosphere this weekend?
Yeah, Monday was a grind for us travel-wise. We had to get up real early, and that news came kind of right when we got back home. So you kind of saw a burst of energy out of everybody around the facility despite those circumstances, and it all revolved around that news. I think everyone's relieved because the talk had kind of been building. I know MLB, the talk is building on just kind of opening it up. And so a sense of relief. But, yeah, the sense of excitement is overwhelming, and that's the number one thing that's going through everyone's mind. And it'll be interesting, at the start of the series and then what the tale we all write after the series is about what this stadium can be and what this environment can be, because we've scratched the surface. But I think you asked the question because everyone's hoping for a little bit more than what we've seen in the past, but time will tell.
Yeah, Tony, there the final couple innings, did the guys hit the off switch a little bit too early, or was that just a couple of weird plays?
No, I don't think so. I mean, Max Ferguson struggled at the plate, and he made a play that I don't know if Fernando Tatis can make that play up the middle. But, we gave an opportunity to a few guys or a lot of guys to go out there. And, when you use a lot of pitchers, you may not hit on everybody. Somebody may have an off night. I don't know that we really had that. Fitzy just didn't do a good job of handling a really tough, set of circumstances he was dealt by the defense. But, the bottom line is when you use position guys, I guess you're kind of rolling the dice a little bit offensively if you get anything. But defensively, we expect our guys to play catch, and that didn't happen. So, other than really one guy having a tough time out there defensively, I thought our kids did great. And then, yeah, in the we did miss a sign offensively, and we did throw to the wrong base in the ninth. But that's where I think inexperience kind of came into play more than focus. I mean, Trey Lipscomb is never, ever, ever, ever not going to be focused, and he just threw to the wrong base out of inexperience and not what was going on there. And then the miss signed is very, very rare. Coach Elander and I will handle that tomorrow with our guys.
I guess conversely there in the first several innings, people might be wondering, was this team looking ahead to Arkansas, and it looked as focused as it could be for the first 6 or 7 innings today? I mean, was that something you just expected them to go out there and do?
I got to be honest, no. And I'll save it till tomorrow to visit with the guys. I think because the last few innings were kind of goofy how they played out, and the game, time-wise went long. We kept it real brief in the outfield, but there was a lot of games they were playing today, not just the game against Tennessee Tech. I mean, again, we traveled on a Monday, which is really rare. The Tuesday games are kind of winding down. They're not in school, so there's a lot of extra free time. And then the extra capacity thing, the regional thing, the Arkansas thing, all that's being thrown in their face nonstop. And so I think it's fair to say maybe the last thing they're thinking about is the game today. If they're lesser competitors. But based off how the first 6 innings went, I think it's all they were thinking about. And pregame was pretty dang good too. So I'm very proud of them in that fact. And we just kind of left it up to them. We didn't have any speech or talk or message. And so that'll be my starting point of tomorrow's conversation before practice.
Dr. Bannon?
Yeah, Tony, wanted to ask you about Drew Gilbert. He was cold there for a couple of weekends in a row, and now he's been red hot the last couple of weekends. Just what adjustments have you seen him make to be able to be successful the last couple of weekends?
I think relax and simplify. When you're in that cleanup spot, I don't even know who came up with that. I guess you expect the first 3 guys to get on. You clean up the bases or whatever. Maybe something usually John Wilkerson's good for all some useless nuggets. Sometimes they're useful too, but that spot comes with a big number or a lot of talk, and I think he overthought it based off conversations I've had with him, and kind of got a little too hyped up. And of course, he's the poster boy occasionally on Twitter and stuff like that, or social media, with what he did at Georgia Southern and what he did against LSU. And I think all of a sudden he had the weight of the world on his shoulders, and instead now he's just kind of playing ball. And I think, like all of our guys, when he settles into just being who he is, I know that's broken record, but it's a benefit of being a coach that has good players. They're prepared by our assistant coaches. They're talented by their own right. So if they just go out there and play, we'll be just fine.
Take a few more. Go to Trey next.
Hey, Tony, kind of going off what Ben asked you to start, 100% capacity this weekend. You've seen it. I don't know if you've seen the numbers, but they're going to be 3 sellouts for the series. Just kind of your overall thoughts about this. We talked to you about it all season leading up to now, and then finally it's going to happen. What does that say about the fan base and what that says about your team?
Yeah, well, the fan base, it's been building, as the season's gone on, and you get all this feedback, and it's almost like these guys are a train going down the tracks. But I guess it wouldn't make sense if they're going that fast. But people have been able to jump on board, and it seems to be more and more people. And some of them are new fans. Some of them are old fans that went away for a while. And then some of them are ones that have been there day one with us. But it's becoming a massive group of people. And when there's people that can't get into games or the ticket prices are sky high, it's frustrating because those people are there. And the group may have grown a little bit since the last couple SEC series, but it's impressive the way it's been formed. Again, if there's something to be proud of these guys, maybe I don't say this stuff enough to them, but if there's something to be proud of, they've earned those people all jumping on. I don't want to call it the bandwagon, but jumping on board with what they do and how they play. So there's a lot to be enthusiastic about, but at the same time, I'm kind of just patiently intrigued. Everything with this pandemic, and it's kind of like I'll believe it when I see it. So when it's going on Friday, I rarely look in the stands, but you'll have to take a moment, our players and our coaches, just kind of soak in what's going on. And then also I'm interested to see what it'll be like. Because I found myself in the middle of the Vanderbilt series, kind of my hair on the arm standing up, and kind of, the fans in the stands were literally kind of vibrating through your body a little bit. So I'm curious to see how it all goes. I really am.
Hey, follow up real quick. Chris Burt mentioned to me yesterday how it was exciting for him to see fans start caring about college baseball in Knoxville and taking it to a different level when it comes to your 4 years here in the town. What does that mean for you to see new fans coming aboard? And I don't want to call it a bandwagon, but getting the community and more people involved off the way you guys are performing and outreach in the community.
Yeah, it's kind of cool the way it's been, because obviously the more you win, the more attention or attraction you'll get, to people supporting you. But the way it's kind of gone down is, man, I really like the way that guy plays, or the group seems to do this, and that's kind of what's drawn me to the program. So hearing the specific way that people have rallied around our team, again, gives you a little sense of pride, and it makes you appreciate it maybe more than if you were at another spot where it's kind of the norm or it's always this or that. These guys, like Evan Russell, Pete Durkee, Luke Lipschitz, that have been here for a while, have seen this transformation go on with the fan base. And, I think they both kind of feed off each other. The fans feed off the way they play, just like fans were frustrated in the 8th inning tonight. They're excited when they see our guys pouring their hearts out on the field. And I think it's easier for our guys to pour their heart out on the field when the fans are all in, they show up and they're all into it. I mean, the one thing I've said is, so far the fans, we haven't had full capacity, but the ones that are here, they're more into it than they were the year we first went to a regional. I mean, there were some SEC games that year where our fans really made the difference or gave our guys a boost, but I hadn't seen anything, I don't think the players have either, like we've seen this year with kind of the intensity from the fans and the involvement. So now when you're going to multiply it by bodies, I hope that means the intensity goes up even more. So that's why I kind of use the word intrigue and all that. But yeah, man, I agree with Chris Burke on pretty much everything he says. When you listen to those broadcasts, he's got a lot of savvy, but he's kind of stating, not the obvious, but stating something that, we got a great university. It's a great city. There's good baseball players here, and the Braves are kind of far away. And so are a lot of other people. So these are pretty good guys that are on our field, and they're playing against pretty good guys too. So normally the tickets are relatively inexpensive compared to the Braves or somebody else. So this is a good show, and we need to keep it that way.
All right, we'll finish with Wes and Ben.
Yeah, Tony, I know obviously the way y'all feel about Liam Spence and the way he's playing this season, but do you think, to the extent that you care, do you think that he's getting enough love for what he's doing outside of this area? I mean, I think the guy's leading the SEC and OBP by 50 points, which is just a ridiculous number. I mean, do you think there's enough appreciation for what he's doing?
I think it's building. I think it's been a slow build outside of our program, within and then the surrounding people. It's gone a little bit faster. But a lot of that comes from, getting credit ahead of time. It's like last year's team that he was on. There wasn't that many people that thought that group was going to be as special as it could have been. And I know it's easy to say that because we didn't finish our year, but heck, we had the first guy make it to the big leagues out of the draft, and a lot of these kids back from last year's team are doing some damage. But this year's team, because of last year's team, got a lot of early season recognition. And again, there's talented players and all that good stuff. But, sometimes people make up their minds early and then they roll with it. And I think, like the fan base situation for Liam, it should be more gratifying that if he is trying to get attention or credit, that it's earned the hard way and kind of is a long, slow grind to get his name the recognition it deserves, as opposed to being handed something before he's earned it or maybe necessarily before he deserves it.
Yeah, Tony, I was just curious about those 2 innings that Camden pitched over the weekend and how big those were and just the improvements that you've seen him make.
That was phenomenal. And I think the improvements have come on the mental side, if that's fair to say, just presence. He's really learned to calm himself. I think early in his career, he would maybe admit to the fact that he would get it rolling well. And then if some things happened around him, he maybe would get the juices flowing a little too much and maybe not handle it as well. But now the conversation I find myself having with him after the Missouri game is, hey, we need you when the fire's hot because you can handle it really well. And we hit a big home run and we go up by a big number. Now it's time to bring in a guy that's maybe more fit for that role. But we wanted him ready for another jam on Sunday. That's why, we could have left him in there. I think the presence he has a more calming effect to it. Even though he's an intense guy, he likes to work quick and has a up-tempo delivery. I think he's more calm when the fire's hotter now. And that's why we can rely on him to close a game at Georgia or come in and get us out of a jam.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.